Alright guys, welcome back, and now we're going to be looking at an actual question. In this particular case, we're asked to solve x squared plus 4x plus 3 equals 0 using each of the methods that we indicated before. So we're going to be solving this quadratic equation using the factorization method first of all. So I'm just going to put this down here and get straight into it. Alright, now the equation is x squared plus 4x plus 3 equals 0. Now remember, we need to ensure first of all that it's in this form, the general form, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Of course, one comes here. And you can clearly see that it's in the general form, and once it's in the general form, then we're good to go. 0 is on the right hand side and everything is lining up nicely here. Why? Because we need to determine clearly what the value of A is. In this particular case it's 1. The value of B is positive 4, and the value of C is in fact 3. So we're able to identify the values of A, B, and C. And then we can go ahead now with the whole concept of factorizing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stress again that the value of B is 4 and AC is A times C, which is 1 times 3, and that is 3. And of course the factors of 3 are 1 and 3. So 1 times 3 gives us in fact 3, so there are only 2 factors, which means the 2 numbers that we're looking for to break up this middle piece is in fact positive 1 and positive 3, because if you add positive 1 to positive 3, you're going to get positive 4, and positive 1 times positive 3 gives you in fact 3. So we have the 2 numbers, so we can go ahead and break up that into the 2. So it will be x squared, so I'm not going to write about the 4x, I'm going to write plus 1x plus 3x, that's going to give me the 4, and I'm going to put back the positive 3 there. Remember, I'm solving an equation, so the equals 0 must always continue to go down. So I'm now going to factorize by grouping. What's common in these 2 terms is x, so that's going to be x plus 1. And remember, you don't put an equal sign here because you're already solving an equation, so the equal sign for steps is irrelevant now. Just work and just indicate equal for the equation and we're done. In these 2 terms, positive 3 is common, x plus 1 equals 0. And again, always check to make sure you have the correct things in bracket. So what we'll have here is x plus 3 in one bracket and x plus 1 in the other bracket equals 0. Now I'm going to slide this over here and it's another page because we're continuing the solution of the question, but I just want to stress on something now. This line here, what does it mean? Essentially, what the bracket indicates, it's a number being multiplied by another number to give you 0. So, essentially we have one number here, because x ultimately is a number, you know. So, whatever x plus 3 is going to work out to be a number. So, this is a number, and this other bracket here would comprise of another number. So technically what this line is saying is 2 numbers multiplied together gives you 0. Now if you multiply 2 numbers to get 0, it means either one of the numbers is 0 or both numbers are 0. Okay? So in that particular case, when x plus 3 equals 0, right? And when x plus 1 equals 0, and then we go ahead and solve for both. Now again, just to stress, the bracket here indicates a number and the other bracket here indicates another number. So when you multiply 2 numbers together to get 0, it simply means that either one of the numbers is 0 or both are equal to 0. That would only make sense for you to get 0 as an answer. So we have to equate both of them to 0 and then solve accordingly. So x here would be equal to negative 3 and x here will be equal to negative 1. So these are the 2 answers we're going to get from solving this quadratic equation. And this is what I mean by when you solve a quadratic equation, you're going to end up with two answers, right? Because we have two numbers being multiplied by each other, this number here and that number, to give you 0. So it either means both numbers are equal to 0 or 1. So we just equate both to 0 and solve accordingly. Now, just as proof, just to show you proof here, and not necessary, I'm finished here with the solution, but just to show you. If I write this back, x squared plus 4x plus 3 equals 0. To show you that any one of these answers now would satisfy this equation and that it will make sense, I could just pick one. You can try one at a time, and I'm just going to pick one. So I'm just going to pick the -1 here and plug it in. I'm going to show you that it makes sense. So -1 plus 3, okay? I'm just going to show you it makes sense here. -1 all squared is +1. Positive 4 times -1 is -4 plus 3. 1 minus 4 is -3. And -3 plus 3 is 0. So you can clearly see here that it makes sense. If I were to plug in the -3 as well, I would end up with the same thing. So this is just proof that this one is correct. And you can go ahead and test this one as well. So this is optional. You don't have to do it. As long as you know that your steps are concrete and they're solid and they're correct, and you get the two answers, then you know you're good to go. All right? So this is utilizing the factorization method to solve a quadratic equation. And of course, this is one example. Next time we come back now, I'm going to show you how to use the quadratic formula method to solve this very same quadratic equation. And of course, irrespective of the method, we should still get the same two answers. So I'll see you guys on the next video.